Yeah, the small things I've been missing probably are the physical interactions you have with your mates at school, whether it be in the classroom, or in the hallways, even sport. But I think you also that classroom environment as well. Class discussions are a lot easier, face-to-face contact, whiteboarding, sharing of ideas, and even the boarding environment. It's been one of the biggest things I've missed. The boarding house is a pretty good place to take your mind off your work, play a bit of handball, a bit of table tennis, or a bit of touch, and it's a place you can really relax and just sort of clear your head, really. I think it'd be as simple as walking between classes. I think because you go from 400 the 400s level to down to the PE rooms or to the 100s. Whereas here at home, it's up and down the stairs from the kitchen back to the office. So I think it's simple things, moving between classes or even around school, from the ref to the dorms or back to the classes, really. I think there's quite a bit of freedom involved with what we do, and I think that can be good in some ways. Besides the instructions set by the teacher, you can dictate how you want to approach a set task or a particular requirement. I think that freedom is quite useful. However, at times that can become the undoing as well. Sort of take advantage of that freedom and then become quite lazy or don't completely do our work. So I tend to sort of eliminate all distractions, being my mobile phone, leave it downstairs in my room. Really avoid browsing, going off task. But I think the principle remains the same. It's very similar to the classroom. At the end of the day, the teacher may sit up at the front of the room and you still have the ability to go on YouTube or whatnot. So I think it's your own self-discipline as well, but as well as eliminating those physical factors. But it does come down to yourself at the end of the day, I think. So I think it's important, boys, to put things into perspective firstly. Obviously, it's for an indefinite amount of time that we're all in isolation. So years 7 and 8, boys, you'll have the next 5 years ahead of you, 5 years ahead of you, to further develop your friendship relationship, your friendship groups. But in saying that, within this period of time, I think it's important to stay connected via, say, social media, your Instagram, Snapchat, whatnot. But even keeping fit, that provides an avenue to sort of keep in touch. I think two people can go for a walk or a run. I think that's a pretty important way of doing it. So I think Mr. Sigreaves sums that up pretty well. With regard to social distancing, there's no reason as to why we can't be socially connected. Of course, we have to abide by the law and be physically distant. But the fact that these laws are put in place, we can still maintain this sense of community and this idea of being interconnected. Obviously, that's done via other mediums, other platforms. But I think it's important we still stay connected with our Hunters Hill, JOEYS school community, and we assist each other in these tough times. Oh. Well, obviously, school would probably start and classes will start, but I think I'll be pretty keen to play some footy or some footy training. All the boys have been itching to play, but as well as that, probably just embrace the classroom environment, I guess. Yeah. So I think now the whole student body, I'm sure, have begun to appreciate this concept of face-to-face learning, in that it's such an easy way of sharing ideas and expressing our ideas with minimal complications. I think technology can often be somewhat frustrating and complicated, and that may pose a problem with our learning. So I'm sure when we return to school, we'll really cherish that classroom environment and the ability to be face to face with your teacher, I think. Mum's cooking, I think, and my bed. Probably the two things I've loved. But besides that, it's been pretty tough. It's been it's a challenge, but it is what it is. What I've sort of taken from this whole experience, and I'm sure I'll be able to apply later on, I think, is that I've really developed my own independence, but also self-discipline, which I'd like to sort of further post year 12, at uni, in day-to-day life, but also organisational skills. So it's quite crucial that we know, where we need to be, what time period 1 starts, what time period 2 starts here, and having all the necessary equipment, being on time for Zoom meetings. So I think, yeah, that's really helped. So personally, I've just used social media primarily, obviously when I'm not in class. But when in the class environment, I've tried to sort of link up with maybe 3 or 4 boys in a Zoom lesson when our Zoom lesson is not on with the teacher, and that way so that replicates that sitting next to a mate in class and be able to talk to them, interact with them, and sort of maintain your sanity, I think. Yeah, I think meal times with the boys. Recess has been actually really one. We even talk about doing virtual recesses online because that's where just so much is shared with the boys at recess, and I think that has been a thing we've missed a lot. We've tried to replicate that online, but it's not the same. And even like things as simple as birthday celebrations during the week at school, again online, but it's not the same. I think to be a JOEYS boy in these current circumstances, we've got to be resilient, first and foremost. These unprecedented times are tough, we all know that, but we're all going through the same struggle. And we're all equally affected in the same way. This virus, it doesn't prejudice, I think. So to be a JOEYS boy currently, it means to sort of get along with it. To be patient, I think, is also really, really crucial. But understand that, there's light at the end of the tunnel and we'll get through it, I think.